Welcome to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. As usual, what is that you're doing? Oh my gosh.
Continue.
As usual, I am Adam, and as usual, he has opening up something special. My good friend, all the way from Central Time, Mr. Michael Sharp.
Hello, Adam. How you doing?
Good, buddy. Good.
And yes, I opened up something. I mean, I am a man of leisure, and in celebration of the holiday, the Halloween holiday, we've got a little Moonlight Mayhem, the
Wow.
saga of werewolves and bourbon. So,
And who's
drinking a
that
little
made by?
too. What's that?
Who's that made by?
Oh, this is made by Filmland Spirits. It's out in Los Angeles, California, clearly. I thought it was appropriate to help set the stage because we've got a really cool show going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our annual Halloween show. But first, we got to talk about how have you been, sir?
Been good, been busy. It's Halloween season, one of my family's favorite holidays. So we turn our front yard into a graveyard.
Nice.
So been working on that. We've got some gravestones and some fence, and we even put an old 1960s Sears beach cruiser out there and, put crows and ravens and things on it to make it spooky. And of course, we've got the fog machine, which will roll fog out around the headstones. So been working on that. And my wife decided it would be a great idea to redo our garage. So I epoxied my garage floor. All of my stuff was sitting outside, while I did it. And now I'm just getting it all moved back in. And ironically enough, my neighbor shouted over and go, "Hey, get that stuff back in your garage. I'm the only one here allowed to have all my junk in the front yard." I was like, "Sorry, Billy, not trying to take your title."
That's right. How'd the epoxy turn out?
It's not a professional application, but I'm not a professional. It looks really good, considering we'd never done epoxy before and all that. Very happy with it. Much better than just the old floor.
Okay.
And we're putting up some more shelves and we're downsizing a lot of stuff. So it's good, but it's just been busy around here. In my front yard, it looks like a graveyard now. So that's fun. How have you been? I know you went down to your house with Mouse.
I did. I saw the mice.
Did
Mice are good, and the mice have now got their reloads of rations and provisions with my credit card in tow. So they're doing good down there. Actually, we had a good time. No, I was concerned. Last time we recorded, we talked about the government shutdown, and as a matter of fact, we said by this show it should be back, and well, it's not. But
but it didn't affect you
nope.
as far as TSA,
nope,
anything like that. Okay,
couldn't even tell. I mean, I'm so through my company. We were going to have a TSA training for awareness, and not TSA from the airport, but TSA does a lot of other things, and so they were going to come, but they did. That has been furloughed and not allowed right now. But as far as safety and security and air travel, no issues, no concerns. Got through just fine and made it up and down and the one, I guess the highlight of the trip and is we did go to the new Epic Universe. My wife and I like to be active on vacation, so we do a lot of walking. We probably walked about 12 miles a day. And
go to amusement parks. That's not really active.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk a lot of steps, but okay.
I saw you were walking when I was down there, so
I was, yeah.
Yes, sir. But no, good, crazy. It's a nice new park, and trust me, they're very proud of that from the cost aspect. So, but we got to do most of everything. A lot of really neat the way that the park is set up. So that was a lot of fun. But that was great. I call it a win. My wife and I went down about 11 days, and I'm here to tell you no fights and arguments. And that's pretty good when you're traveling and staying in multiple hotels. And we were able to do what you and I normally do, which we stayed in the Hyatt coming back through the airport. We took the
Yeah.
5 a.m. flight, and then we finished our trip in that Hemisphere restaurant and watching the planes and the runway. And so all was good. But that this is always our October trip. We usually go down and we had a good time. But in a weird way, I'm glad to be back. We had fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm glad to be back. This is always a fun time of the year for work and a lot of like you said, Halloween. Funny story about Halloween, since it's our Halloween show. This just shows that weather is changing. I used to blow up my sprinklers on the night of Halloween, not to get the kids wet, but because it made everything so misty. And so it was really cool some years where I would blow the psst, and then it would be like just misty as the kids walk through for trick or treating. But
Got it.
it's kind of neat. So figured it was a Halloween. But
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the first horror story. What you don't know is I know that none of this affected your travel, but there was only one person working the Orlando Tower that day. Just one.
well, lucky for me, that one person got me back and forth, and
He just moves from station to station. The one guy that showed up, this station, flight 734, please hold. Flight 419, you are now ready to land.
both of our fathers were in aviation. I'm not sure if the leisure community knows that, but I'll never forget the first time that I got to go up in the tower and saw they were using little clipboards, like little. I don't think people realize that what they use in towers. It's like playing Scrabble. I mean, it really is. I mean, the flight is on there, and you would think like with computers and tablets and iPads and all that. I don't care if you like Android or Apple. You would think that the technology would change. Nope. It's like a Scrabble board with the plane, and they move it over, and it's definitely interesting. So, but
guess what they're still using in the towers?
yeah, exactly. Smoke signals.
Hard job. Give those guys kudos. Not an easy job, and I appreciate them keeping me safe. So
you would appreciate this. We did see. I feel bad because Spirit Airlines. You can look it up yourself. They're going through some furloughs and some bankruptcy protection. We saw a Spirit plane. I'm not kidding you. Impounded. I mean, we were sitting in that Hemisphere restaurant, and if anyone's ever been there, it's all glass and it looks out over the runway on Terminal B. And we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, is something okay?" I mean, just all kinds of lights and emergency personnel coming around this plane. We thought it was a safety issue at first. We later learned that they were impounding the plane. Turns out that a lot of those planes are owned by a different company. Spirit, leases them and
they're
stuff.
leased.
Yeah, so the owners were like, "You're not taking this plane off." So it was an interesting thing.
Let's hope they let the people off before they impounded the plane.
I hope so, because otherwise they're still stuck right on there on runway B. So
there's that one guy still pushing the assistant light. When's that?
Well, it's good to be with you again. I always enjoy my vacation, but I missed doing the show and a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and I'm excited. But I don't want to miss listener spotlight. I have some bad news though. I searched all of our communication. I searched our emails. They can text us directly from any podcast platform.
Yes, I can.
The leisure community. And I regret to tell you that unless you can tell me now, I know you got corrected on something, but as far as guesses, unless you can tell me different, I don't believe we actually got a guess this time.
Probably not. But this was a tougher one.
Okay,
I'll give them that.
Okay,
it was not easy.
Well, I'll tell you what. In true spirit, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Listener Spotlight.
All right. The clues that I gave you for Listener Spotlight were as follows. The area was controlled by several countries through its history. The area saw many battles between native tribes and the U.S. This city was founded in the late 1700s. It was named after a founding father of the U.S. We can thank this city for an invention that originated there. What we eat and how we prepare and how it's prepared was changed forever. The early economy thrived due to industry and railroad jobs. The city is located on the confluence of three rivers, which made this city a very strategic location. And the city helped influence a place where everybody knows your name. Do you
So
have any guesses?
yeah, I do. I mean, when you first said this, when we got done recording, I said the Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. But where everybody knows your name brings me to Cheers. You want to go where everybody knows your name. So
Mm-hmm.
then I would think Boston. So I'm thinking it's one of those two, either Pittsburgh or Boston area.
Well, Pittsburgh has many rivers. Boston, I do not believe it is on the confluence of three rivers.
Okay.
Um, and it was not named after a founding father.
Mm.
So it's not Boston. But then again, it's not Pittsburgh either. But thank you for playing.
Well, hold on. Let's be fair because, I mean, if we're going to give it to somebody else, we got to give it to me.
This week's listener spotlight is Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I'm so glad you did not say St. Louis.
One of these days. The area of Fort Wayne, Indiana was at times controlled by the French, the British, and the United States. It was founded in 1794. It is named after one of our founding fathers, Anthony Wayne. We can all thank the city for this invention. What we eat and how it's prepared was changed forever with the invention of the refrigerator.
Wow. I mean,
Created in
that's
Fort
good.
Wayne. Three Rivers, like I said, and the one that you were on, the city helped influence a place where everybody knows your name. It is the birthplace of Shelley Long. Played
There we-
Diane on the TV
Yeah.
show. So there you go.
Well, thank you, listeners of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Thank you, all listeners, but especially this episode, Fort Wayne, Indiana. You know, I think you know this about me, but I used to live in Southern Illinois
Mm-hmm.
many moons again, which was Central Time. And when I moved, we would go 69 and go through Fort Wayne all the time. And there's a paper mill right along the freeway. And let me tell you something. There were times that has to be the worst smell in the world.
Awful smell.
Yeah. Driving on the freeway, I would be like, "Oh my gosh!" So
Two worst smelling plants: paper mills and creosote plants.
oh, I have to believe that for sure.
Remember, we rode across, right by one,
Yeah.
Georgia, a couple of years ago, and it was not good.
I told the story about. By the way, just to be clear, this is not offensive. This was actually a very cute thing. You and I were driving riding our bikes in Georgia. A very curious person who lived in the town that we went through asked what we were doing. We told him we were riding our bikes across the state of Georgia. This beautiful African American woman said, "Oh Lord, I'm going to have Jesus put a fence around you." And I told the story recently on vacation, and the question was that fence a one-day fence? Was that like a proverbial, like, did it ever end? And I'd like to think that the fence never ended, but so
Well, she didn't really put speculation on it, so I'm saying I still have that fence. We still have that fence. You
yes,
know,
sir.
it's kind of like on the movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yeah,
You get thrown out of the Woolworth. Now,
that's
is
right.
that just that Woolworth, or is that all the Woolworths? So we're gonna say that lady still has our Jesus fence around us, as she called it.
You know what? And we didn't have any flats or mechanicals, and we've done pretty well since then. So we might still have the fence. So, but I was able to share that story recently, so I thought I would.
It's a good
thought I
story.
would tell you. So now,
But
listen, I made a promise to you.
what's that?
I made a promise to you.
Did you?
I did.
And what's that?
2 episodes ago,
Mm,
you
mhm,
were chomping at the bit. You were just wanting to do Rants of Dissatisfaction. And I said, no, that's not the right time. And then you said, what about the next one? I said, I'm about to go on vacation. So I made a promise to you, and I want to keep that promise today. Tonight, right now, ladies and gentlemen, I am keeping my word. I'm stalling while I get a
Rants of Dissatisfaction.
Sir, the floor.
Thank you. Finally. By the way, when you're stalling on radio or on a podcast, you don't tell people you're stalling. You just keep going. So we'll work on that later. Never mind.
Hey, this is a transparent show, buddy.
We are, aren't we? You know, I've got many rants of dissatisfaction because they've been building up for a while. But because we got such a cool other segment on our show, I'm going to limit myself to 2 rants of dissatisfaction right now. And then we'll get back to it again.
And I have 1.
All right. Well, let me do 1, and then we'll give you the floor. I don't know. I think I'll do this one. My first one is I'm
Your
watching
neighbor
TV.
still has the Christmas lights on.
Well, they're just celebration lights, is what I'm calling them. It makes me feel better.
I'm sorry.
I watch TV. I watch all the streaming stuff. I mean, I still have cable in the wintertime because I like just variety and randomness. I can just turn it on and just plug through and something comes up and I was like, okay, that's cool. What I've been finding lately that really, really irks me is I'll be watching a show, whatever channel you want, History Channel, what have you. I'm sitting there watching it. And then all of a sudden, a commercial comes up. Okay, no problem. I understand commercials. You got to pay for it. But the commercials are in Spanish. And this happens a lot. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? Clearly, you're not marketing to me. Who exactly are you marketing to? The whole show that I've been watching is in English. Now the commercial is in Spanish. So are the Spanish-speaking people just watching the English TV and not have any idea what's going on? And then it's like, yeah, let's give them a commercial so they'll drives me nuts. And what's funny is when I was in Mexico a couple months ago, the same thing. I was sitting there watching a little TV. Boom. American program. Commercials were all in Spanish.
I thought you were going to say English.
That would have made sense if I went to like this, the Spanish channel. Let's mark. But no, I just drives me crazy.
I know
it's
why.
Like the program's in English. The commercials are in Spanish.
I know why.
Why?
You and I've got to be careful how I say this. You and I shared. I was going to say we stayed in a lot of hotels, but no.
Whoa.
You and I shared a few hotel rooms, and both of us usually have to take meetings on the road, so we hear each other doing meetings and such, correct?
See.
You and I have shared cots or cot tenting camping areas or charters.
We haven't shared cots.
No, but
let's just get that. Yes,
but
we've shared campsites.
Yeah, with Padres.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do every night?
Slept?
No. You were taking lessons every night. What kind of lessons were you taking?
Oh, I was taking Spanish lessons.
Well, that's why your TV is telling you commercials in Spanish.
Well, shouldn't it be giving me the shows in Spanish?
I'm telling you, every night I would hear you do your 10
minutes of Spanish. Yes.
Yes. Your phone is listening to you, brother. It knows you. No habla inglés. So, I mean, it knows. So.
Anyway, it just drives me crazy. It's like, I don't get it. I'm sure there's some metrics out there. So I don't know. Anyway, that's my first one. Go ahead. I'll let you have the floor.
So I'm not sure if the leisure community has picked up on it. I know you've made a mention of how I've done some landscaping in the basement, and I joked about getting the room done before you came to visit me. Well, the only thing left on all those projects was to get the final trim work done. And then the basement, which is now done, and then the basement was going to be finally done. My wife, kudos to her, great countertop, yada, yada, yada. A beautiful, modern, very, very high class, all put together design work. I give her kudos. The tile, heated floor. The last thing was the trim. Finally, I'm at the point where I can spring for the trim. I get a contractor lined up. Reviews are great. My neighbor used them. Wonderful. Now, let me tell you something. I have one of those locks on my house that I can create a digital, like an Airbnb lock where you can go somewhere and they can create a code for a couple days.
Sure.
So I told this guy that I was leaving on this day and I would be back on this day. And I said, the house is wide open for 11 days. I said, I've got great neighbors. If you have a problem getting in the lock, blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, I'll have it done before you get back. I said, that's wonderful. Well, come on. It's 2025. I have cameras on my house. And I'm waiting for this guy to show up. And it's Monday, and it's Tuesday, and it's Wednesday, and it's Thursday. And finally, I can't stand it anymore. I'm coming home on Sunday, by the way. And I finally text, and I say, so what's the plan? And he goes, oh, I'm coming tomorrow, and I should be able to wrap everything up in tomorrow. And I'm going, one day.
That's a lot of trim.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, and just to give everybody an idea, it's a bedroom and a living room and a hallway and a bathroom and a laundry room. And I'm like, that's a lot. Now I understand if you take one 10-foot board and then you paint it and maybe you can get 10 foot down, to give any contractors out there, it was 186 linear feet. And so I'm thinking to myself, but I also had doorways and I'm thinking, man, that's a lot for one day. So on Saturday, shows up about 10 a.m. I get a notification from the lock open, and then he locks it like 10 o'clock at night. I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to eat crow pie. Well, I took the 5 o'clock flight out of Orlando. I'm back in Detroit at 8:30. Show up at my house around 10 o'clock by the time I get the shuttle to get my car. We did one of those things that you like to do, like hotel and park and all that. Get my car, come home. I get a text. Hey, I need to finish some things up. I'll be there around 10 o'clock. I walk in the house and it's only like half done. This is before the guy gets here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I'm tired. I've traveled. I got up at 2 a.m. TSA, blah, blah, blah. And that guy stayed until 10 o'clock on Sunday. Not 10 a.m., 12 hours he was here. Now he finished. It looks great. But then I'm thinking to myself, this is where the Rants of Dissatisfaction goes. My house was open to him undisturbed for 11 days, and you wait until I come home. I was so mad.
But maybe he had other jobs.
I'm sure he did. I mean,
he was just doing them in order.
Yeah, he probably, in his defense, he probably doesn't take away the fact that it was frustrating, but I completely understand that he probably squeezed something else in, and I didn't want to be like, why did you wait? And so, and he did a nice job. Everything is great. So, but it was just so frustrating because it's like, here we are, we just got back. My wife was starting a new job on Monday. And so it's like, dude, really? I mean, you're here all day. I kept feeling like I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to Costco and get my, hey, I'll be back. Hey, I'm going to do my workout, So I just kind of was like, oh my God. And the guy never left. He never left. I offered him food. I offered him drinks. He's like, no, I'm good. He worked all day. So, but anyways, it looks good. Basement is done, my friend. I can't wait for you to come see it.
Cool. Look forward to it. All right. My last one, and this is a tough choice, but we're going to go with this one.
Well, make it good. You gave me a hard time, so.
Well, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, TV shows.
Oh, those were good times.
Oh, they were great times.
A-Team, Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah. The main focus or the main prop that a lot of actors used were cigarettes.
Yeah.
Everybody smoked back then. especially in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. When we got into 80s, people started going, maybe this isn't healthy. Exactly. Everybody smoked. And so many characters on TV, they smoked, and they use it. It was, a prop. They, pull out a cigarette while somebody's talking, they'd light it up, and then they'd use it as like a dramatic, and then blow the smoke out. And it was a great prop. It worked well. It fit in with the times. No problem. Do you know what they use as a prop nowadays?
Coffee.
Coffee. Thank you. They
You're welcome.
always have, what's that?
You're welcome.
They always have a coffee cup in their hand. Okay, that's fine. We've replaced the cigarette prop with the coffee cup. So everybody, cop shows, whatever shows you're watching, everybody's carrying around a cup of coffee. I've got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is, could you put some water in it or something? Because next time you watch a show and they're carrying around coffee cups, you clearly can see that just by the way they're carrying it, there's no liquid in it. So you'd think that the director would say, hey, put some water, fill that halfway up. So, because you carry a glass that's got something in it differently than if it doesn't. And so they're just like sitting here like, whoa, they'll be, just swinging it around or whatever. But it doesn't have anything in it. And that's fine. You can act, but your body knows that there's nothing in that, and you carry it differently. And it just looks like you're carrying around an empty cup of coffee, which you are. That just drives me crazy.
Like NCIS.
Have you ever noticed that? Yes, NCIS does it all the time.
Gibbs had coffee all the time.
Gibbs, and then the gal that was back in the forensic lab, he'd always bring her like the super big gulp cup, and there was nothing in that either. Yeah. But you can see by the way they like tilting it, moving around, that there's nothing in it, and it just gives this, doesn't sell me. And that bothers me. So
before we switch gears to the Halloween, I just want our community to know, Michael, what kind of coffee do you like?
Is that relevant to the conversation? I don't drink coffee. I don't have anything against people who do.
Yes.
But the point is, if you're going to use that as a prop, which I have no problem, it's actually better than the cigarettes. At least make it realistic. Have something in it, because you're just carrying it and jiggling it around, and you can tell when they lift it up, there's no weight to it. It just doesn't look real. So just to be clear, I'm not angry that the coffee is as a prop for most actors on TV nowadays. I am angry by the fact that it's just empty and they're just carrying around a piece of empty trash. And you can tell it.
As we switch gears, I have to tell you, I've seen these funny social media posts about, you're not really that thirsty or need a coffee. You're bored. That's why you go to Starbucks. Which
you
is
just
not
need to look cool. You're carrying around the glass.
That's right. You just want to look cool. But
let's get to the really good stuff. We've got some really interesting things to celebrate the holiday season.
Absolutely.
And holidays. I mean, Halloween. I know people are already getting into the Christmas thing. Halloween. And Halloween is my favorite holiday. And this goes back like 2,000 years. If you go back in the history of Halloween, it used to be called Samhain. And it was like a festival, into the harvest, beginning of winter. And they had, bonfires. And it was believed that on Halloween, that was the time when the barrier between the living and the dead was at its narrowest. And it was believed that perhaps spirits or demons or whatever could somehow come into the land of the living for that day. And people would wear, skins and things like that to ward off those characters. And then later, it was adopted by the church, All Saints Day, that kind of thing. But it's just cool because this goes back thousands of years. And because of the whole, barrier and spirits coming into our world, that's really what's developed into, the association with witches and ghosts. So I had the idea, and you jumped on board immediately. I thought we should talk about some ghost stories.
Okay.
Some hauntings.
You're in one.
You're in one. So I thought it would be cool to talk about some hauntings, some ghost stories, some things that have happened. Maybe they're real, maybe they're not. We're not here to say it either way. So I dug up some interesting haunted stuff that revolve around bicycles and leisuring.
I love it.
And then you're going to present us with something which is going to be really cool. So stay tuned. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The first one I want to talk about is, I've titled this one, What Happened to Larry? And what this is this takes place in Randolph, Maine. And there is an old rails to trail there called the Old Narrow Gauge Volunteer Trail. And many people have been on this trail and have seen and heard, they've heard like a ghost train whistle. They've seen orbs, different stuff like that. But the most interesting thing is people have reported seeing this guy riding a bicycle on this trail. And he's clearly not all there. He's transparent and that type of thing, but you can see the outline of a cyclist. And what everybody thinks is that there was this gentleman by the name of Larry Farrell, or Lawrence Farrell. Everybody called him Larry. And he went out riding one day. He was well known around the town, rode, everybody knew him as Bicycle Larry, rode a red Huffy around town. It was a fine Huffy too. So he's very well known, but he vanished one day. There was never a trace of his body. There was never a trace of his bicycle. He just vanished. So no one ever knew really what happened to him. There is a belief that he was part of a murder-suicide where this other gentleman in town had several disputes with Larry, caught him one night out riding, killed him, buried his body back in the woods somewhere, and then committed suicide sometime later, and left a message that kind of led people to believe that he may have done this. But so Larry is out there on this trail. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Larry on his red Huffy bike, still riding up and down that trail in Maine.
It'd be kind of creepy if you lived there and then as the sun started to go down, you were on the trail, you'd be looking around.
Well, what's interesting is there's like a 1.5 mile section of this trail that goes through the forest and the woods. So that's immediately going to make it creepy. And then you go there at night and, you got the, different sounds and stuff like that. And then you go there and you're like, I've heard stories of Larry. That's going to freak you out a little bit. But
For sure.
There's ghostly voices and orbs and occasionally glimpses of Larry. So if you're ever in Maine, check it out. Maybe you can see Larry.
All right.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't think so. I mean, I say I've just never, like my wife, big believer. She always has the paranormal stories on YouTube and everything, and they have all these contraptions oh, talk to us, we hear you.
Yeah, they got these little pod things and all sorts of crazy stuff.
And I roll my eyes all the time, and I'm like, you don't believe that? She's like, I find it entertaining, And I'm always like, no, it's not real. But I mean, for
you
those
just haven't met Larry yet. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, and if I did, he'd probably outpedal me. But I mean, the one thing I always found really interesting was, Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies of all times, and the Mansfield prison had had some really interesting things that happened there, and so.
And that's the prison where the movie was shot at, correct?
Yeah, yes, that's correct. And so that was kind of things they heard or whatever. And unfortunately, a lot of prisoners passed away there. But so they had some spooky stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm so closed-minded, no, never happened. I just never really, I'm a kind of like see it, believe it kind of guy, and so I just never had anything really really close. I mean, I told last year at this time the story when I was on my deck. There was like this triangle light, and it was really weird because then I would call it an unidentified flying object. I mean, it flew in the sky, and then it was like there, and then whew, I watched it really take off fast, and so that's the only thing in my time on this earth that would be unexplainable. So.
By the way, they're not called UFOs anymore. They're called UAEs, unidentified aerial, or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. So just get you up to speed.
Well, I appreciate that.
Sure. The next one comes from England, and I've entitled this one, Is There Someone Watching? And this is all about a report that in June of 2018, a mother is at a place called Old Way Mansion in Devon, England. And her son is riding a bicycle around the grounds in front, and she's filming it. Great day, fancy, nice house. She's filming it out there. Later in reviewing the footage, she noticed this ghostly figure dressed in this Victorian dress up in the window, looking down on her son as her son is riding the bicycle. Which that's kind of spooky to think, oh, there's maybe something. But further research showed that there was this lady named Isadora Duncan, and she was a dancer, and she had an on-again, off-again relationship with Paris Stinger, who owned the mansion back in the day, and they had a child. And one day, the child and their nanny drowned, and so that kind of brings that whole, kind of death thing to it. And then a couple years later, she pretty much just became a shut-in at that point in time. What else do you do? This is very traumatic. A couple years later, she was in she died in a bizarre auto accident. So apparently she liked to wear these long scarves, and it was an old back in the day when the wheels had the spokes, and apparently her scarf went out and basically jerked her out of the car or something, but caused her to die. So a lot of death around this one. Could it have just been some lady up there looking out the window and was dressed in a long dress? Maybe. But you can go online and see the pictures. Maybe it's a ghost. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just a worker. Maybe it was, reenactment day there. I don't know. But it's interesting. Kind of creepy. Thinking, oh, you're a mother, and there's like just some lady standing in this window just staring and watching your child.
That would definitely be really, that would scare you to death if you were like looked up and you saw like a body and, like a silhouette and then backed away, or something like that. So.
Yeah. So. Don't know about that one. I got to see something to believe it. Now, I've seen some weird stuff, and I think I talked about it last year, but we won't get into it. But I have seen some weird stuff that couldn't exactly explain. My next one, some people may have heard about this one. And this is too much drink or just a hoax. And this all revolves around the Moss Beach Distillery in Moss Beach, California. So it's not cycling, but it is, distillery.
Right up our alley.
Yes, indeed. It's a former Prohibition speakeasy. It sets up on this cliff overlooking the ocean. Very, very cool setting. It was established in 1927. Supposedly, there's a famous apparition there called the Blue Lady. Now, I don't know what's with the color blue and gray. There's always a blue lady, a gray lady, and a lady in white. I don't know. Maybe that's all they've got at the apparition store is those three colors. I don't know, but that's how it works out. She is said to haunt the property. Patrons have reported cold spots and flickering lights and chandeliers and glassware moving and missing earrings that reappear in odd spaces. And this lady is supposedly died there by falling to her death, either pushed or accidentally fell or jumped to her death off of the cliff. So when you start talking about the blue lady and the gray lady and the lady in white, and at that point in time, I just kind of check out. It's like, oh, okay.
I'm back.
But the twist on this whole one is that in 2008, Ghost Hunters, the TV show from the two plumbers up in Rhode Island, they actually went on an investigation of this one. And I have seen the actual show. And what's funny is they found mechanisms that had been placed in the building to move the chandeliers and like shake like the shelf that the glassware was on. And there was one part in the bathroom where they had like this weird image could be shown up on there. And they also had some speakers where they could do like, you know, disembodied voices, things like that. So basically it was all a hoax. And supposedly they hired a Disney, you know, one of the Disney prop builder guys, Imagineers, to come and do this. And of course, you know, if you can give people the allure that your place is haunted, that, you know, they want to come and maybe experience. And a lot of people got to experience it, but it was all fake. And, you know, those guys are climbing around. They go up in an attic and it's like, oh, look at this. Here's this thing that's doing that. And they just like busted them completely. It was pretty funny. So again, no blue lady.
I'm dying to meet you. You know, when Lauren does watch some of those things, they got those EAPs or whatever. I mean, I don't know, like they set it in the middle of the room and says, "It's cold in here. Can you feel us? Hello? Can you talk? What did you wear? What did you?" I was like, oh my gosh.
So, and the light just changes colors. It's like red and then it goes to green and then it goes to red. And it's like,
but she enjoys it. So whatever.
Entertainment value only. The next one is Really My Cough is Fine. That is my title for this next one. And this all revolves around, not yet, revolves around Brower's Bicycle Shop. And this was in Charleston. And it was a bicycle shop there. And basically, the College of Charleston bought the bicycle shop after it had went out of business and was going to use the building, you know, for purposes of higher education. Well, the bicycle owner's wife was murdered in 1971. We don't know how. We don't know why. Maybe Mr. Brower was, you know, just getting bored. I don't know. But she was murdered in the building. Well, the college, when they took over the building, they originally established it as like their bookstore. And basically, the semester was getting ready to start. All the employees are in there stacking up the books, getting them all ready to go. They left for the day. When they came in and unlocked the door and came in the next morning, all of the books that they had stacked up on the tables and stuff were now all on the ground, neatly stacked. Some stacks were as high as 5 feet tall, and they were all on the floor, neatly stacked there. A little weird. So it's believed that it's haunted by the ghost of Miss Brower, who was, you know, murdered in there. What makes it kind of even creepier for me is today it's the Student Health Services building.
Really?
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm not making that up. It's like, I'm good. I got malaria, but I think I'll skip it.
Yeah, I'm going to miss this one.
So I just thought that was funny. That used to be an old bicycle shop, and now it's possibly haunted, and it's a student health building.
Interesting.
Save the best for last for you, though. This is a good one. This is my favorite one. I'm calling this "The Trail is Rough, but the Challenge is Worth It." I need you to set the music. Set the mood for me. Okay. Imagine, if you will, it's 1915. You're a young soldier, the British Army. You're in the trenches in France. You know, 30 to 40 yards away is another trench with the Germans. They're looking at you. You're looking at them. In between is this area called No Man's Land. It's got barbed wire and destroyed buildings and bomb explosions have went off there, so there's craters. Not a place you're going to go hang out because, quite frankly, really, as soon as you pop your head up and start taking a couple feet, they're going to start shooting at you, and you're not going to make it very far. Really terrible situations. The soldiers that were in those trenches, if you've never done any just looking at it or reading about it, you should, because you start thinking about these soldiers lived in these trenches.
Oh, come on. You yell at me about my phone, and now you're getting all kinds of stuff.
They live in these trenches. They eat in these trenches. They sleep in these trenches. Everything that they do is in these trenches, and they're there for weeks and months at a time. So it was just horrible, horrible conditions. So you're out there, been living in this trench for 3 months, and you're on like patrol or guard duty, so to speak. And that basically means you set at this post and you have like this little periscope thing that you put up there, and you basically, because you don't want to stick your head up there, you just put that up there. And so you look around and you just check to make sure that the Germans haven't decided to do a sneak attack on you or anything. And that's your whole job. Gets to be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You've been doing it for the last 6 hours. And all of a sudden, going right in the middle of no man's land is a soldier on a bicycle. And sometimes he's carrying a piece of equipment. Other times he's got like one of those messenger bags, and he's just riding right down through no man's land. A little spooky.
That would
now, experts will all say, well, it's because that they lived in those really bad conditions, and probably a lot of people were shell-shocked and traumatized, and they didn't want to be there. And so their minds wandered, and they just, some reason, got this vision of this bicyclist. And then one person said bicyclist, and then they were all seeing bicyclist. What I find interesting is that sometimes he's carrying equipment. Sometimes he's just has like a messenger satchel. You can't really tell. They've never really reported what uniform he has, but you could tell that he had some military type uniform on. What's interesting above everything else is that it was reported on both the British and the French reported it, as well as the Germans on the other side also reported seeing a bicyclist going through no man's land. And that's what makes it even more intriguing to me, is that it had been reported on both sides. If it was just one side, some British guy goes, hey, wait, some night when it's really late, you're really, you're going to see this cyclist. And then you put that in their mind, and then they're like, oh, I'm looking for the cyclist, and then, but the fact that both sides saw this throughout World War I think is a very interesting story. So he's known as the ghost cyclist of World War I. There's no, tradition or legend as far as what side he was on or what his name was or anything, but there you go. So I found that one to be extremely interesting. So I don't know, maybe there is.
That would be one brave cyclist.
Yeah, because, number one, the terrain is not going to be real conducive to riding a bicycle. Number two, I mean, the other side just waiting for somebody to pop up, and so.
Exactly.
So there you go. There's some of my tales of hauntings that I'm sharing with you for Halloween.
I love it. This is my chance to talk about reviews real quick. We are asking for a review. If you enjoy the show, please take 4 minutes, actually 30 seconds, go to ChatGPT, ask it to give a Cycling Men of Leisure a review, copy, cut, paste, enter. Actually, if you enjoy the show, we're just asking for some reviews. It helps spread the word, helps us get it picked up by the algorithms and bots. So if you could take a couple seconds, leave us a review if you enjoy what we do. On behalf of Michael and myself, we say thank you. So, do you know, sir, who Joe Grammer, Emery Norris, Dennis Keeler, Alex Bell, and Scott Garwick are?
I do.
You
These
do?
are all, yes. You don't?
Well, I do. I'm glad to
Yes,
remember.
I know who they are. These are all people who claim that they love the outdoors, but really meant patios and drinks.
Close.
That's who they are.
Close.
Close. So close. Just a bit outside.
These are 5 VIP ladies and gentlemen who, with their wallet, support our show, and we thank them. So thank you so very much. Michael is toasting you right now. So
Cheers. Thank you. We appreciate it.
if you don't have a wallet that you want to give Cycling Men of Leisure, that's okay. Just go back to that review. So
Okay. Our review will work just fine. Thank you.
that's right. So I've got finishing up our Halloween episode. I've got a really cool story. But we do have a listener spotlight. And we have a little teaser that I'm going to let you give the teaser to. So dealer's choice, listener spotlight or the teaser.
Let's do listener spotlight.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce it is now time for our next listener spotlight.
All right. I got some good clues for you. This one is going to be a little bit easier than the last couple have been. Town was originally started as a fort constructed in the early 1800s with the purpose of interring the native population. So not a great stellar start for this town. It was incorporated as a town in the late 1800s. The early growth was spurred by a rail line that passed through the community. Coal and iron were discovered in the area in the 1880s, but they fell far short of what people were hoping. Basically, there wasn't a lot of it. They found it and they were like, woo, and they started going crazy, and then it immediately kind of went downhill. So the economy suffered a decline. But then cotton processing became a big economic boom, and cotton products, the production of cotton products became a huge business and economic driver for this community. The town has an annual festival that celebrates its world standing around hosiery. And it could be said that this city is truly a Dixieland delight. Okay. So I just told you what part of the country it's in.
All right. A hosiery celebration, a festival. Like leader hosing.
They have a world standing that involves hosiery in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Don't be jealous.
It's not St. Louis.
It's not St. Louis. And I will say, just to throw in an extra little clue, Adam has never been to this town. If that helps anyone. That'll help Adam.
Yeah, there's lots.
I say that with the strongest confidence. You have not been to this town.
There's a lot of places I haven't been.
Well,
okay.
Okay. So there
all
we go.
right. I gave you dealer's choice. You went for listener spotlight. It is now time for the teaser, sir.
The teaser. And by teaser, do you mean like what we're talking about on the next show or what?
Yeah, maybe next show or the show after. Yeah, right in there.
Okay. Maybe not the next show, but coming up in the very near future, in the next couple of months prior to Christmas, around the end of November, maybe the very beginning of December, we're going to have our much anticipated and often requested cyclist Christmas list. That's right. As a cyclist, what do you get? What do you get us? Adam and I will go through and we pick out some different items that are new to the market or that we've used that we really like, and we bring them to the table. They might be pieces of equipment. They might be safety gear. We've done all sorts of things. Last year, we had some bourbon involved and some home decor stuff involved. So we try to do a little bit of everything. And what's really fun about this is we'll throw them out there, give you some ideas. And for the last couple of years, I have actually bought one or two of those items and tried it out. So
one of the neatest things for me is when we are writing and we're writing next to somebody, they will actually show the item that they received as a gift from their family, because they put it on their list and say, "Hey, because of your show, I bought this." Or the one I can distinctly remember very well was the electric pump that you talked about, and then that was very well a warm reception. Many people listened to you, which I am surprised. No.
it happens occasionally.
And then you actually got to do a double review because yours came out of your bike, the holder on your bike, and it went down the road about 30 miles an hour. And you know what? It worked just fine. So you were able to give an endurance review after. So
it popped out of my water bottle holder somehow because it was the bigger round olive oval one. Popped out, scurried down the road. I thought, oh my gosh, picked it up. I mean, there wasn't even a crack or anything in it. And still did well. And since that time, I've actually bought the smaller one, and it works really well. And I know, like last year, I bought one of those bike locks that I talked about that goes in the handlebars of your bike. Not used it, but it's there. If I was really hoping this year on one of our rides, generally we go on a ride and people are like, maybe we go downtown or something and people are always freaking out. It's like, well, I want to ride, but I don't have a lock. What am I going to do? I was really hoping that would happen because I was going to walk over, pop that off and say, here you go. Here's a lock. Here's that. Now you can lock it up. But
we didn't use that when we went to Georgia.
We did not. But that's okay because we're not big bike lock type people. But
No.
I wanted to try it out. And it's one of those things that if, like I said, we have some friends who have some very, very expensive bicycles. I get it. Like to have it and I can just, hand it to them and say, here you go.
I think I know what happened. We were in the hotel in Georgia. You showed me the bike lock because of how you had to travel with it. You had to put it back and screw it in. And I think that's my memory of seeing it. And so you're right. Yep.
Yeah, I showed you because you just take the key, pop it up, it comes right out, and you can hook it up. It's very, very cool. Not expensive, and if you're one of those people that really, are concerned about your bike, which I don't fault you for that, they are not cheap things. That's a good idea. So I've already started looking at some things, and you need to start looking at some things, and we'll put together a really a good show around different ideas to perhaps buy the cyclist in your life.
If you have an idea for a gift, please send us a message. We would love to get that out. We usually either look at from a selfish point of view, like your folding helmet. You had mentioned that before, and then now you're a regular consumer. But if you have something out there for cycling that is really one of those items, like if you were playing Survivor and you had to take one item, what would be your cyclist gift? Oh, look at that. The cycling bobblehead.
2 years ago, cycling bobblehead. My wife took the idea, and I now have a cycling bobblehead of myself.
And that says
everyone needs one.
I love that. It says cycling man of leisure.
It does. Right there on his jersey says cycling man of leisure. Even has the receding hairline just like me. So,
well, that's all right, buddy.
Well, it is what it is.
I don't judge you for your hair.
Or lack of. As you take your hat off and run your fingers through. Yeah.
Look at how gray mine is, though. Holy.
Well, mine's gray too. But I can also stand next to a microwave and not get sunburned, which you cannot. So, I got that going for me.
This is true. We were talking about, how they show presidents before and after, before and after, and the hair and everything. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, that's what my job does for me. So funny. somebody showed a picture, and I said, "Oh, my job's not that stressful." But all right. Well, listen, I have something a little special. I'm pretty excited about this. I've been holding on for this whole time. So, in the spirit of Halloween, I'm not going to use the words I wrote. I'm going to say I inspired a cycling story.
All right.
I'm going to have a little bit of background music here.
Oh, it's a spooky Halloween story.
This is right. I'm going to make sure this comes back around here.
Pot it down just a shade.
Perfect.
There you go. That's setting the mood for me right there.
For those of you who don't know, pot it down. Michael used to be in radio. Pot it down means turn it down. So, this
Old
is
school.
the Cycling Men of Leisure Halloween episode, The Phantom Peloton. They say you never truly ride alone, even when the night's quiet, even when your headlight cuts through nothing but mist. Sometimes, just behind you, there's another wheel turning, a rhythm you can feel but never see. For years, cyclists across the country have whispered about the Phantom Peloton, a ghostly group ride that appears when the roads are empty and the air hangs thick with fog. Taillights flicker up ahead, red, steady, perfect. But no matter how hard you chase, you can never catch them. Some say they're riders lost on century rides that never ended. Others say it's just fatigue, dehydration, the mind playing tricks after too many climbs. But every October, more stories roll in of GPS routes looping back on themselves, of segments recorded by usernames that don't exist, and of the one lonely rider who swears he heard someone whisper, "Hold your line." Look, if I see a ghost on a bike, I'm at least asking what is the tire pressure he's running. Because if he's floating past me on 28s, I'm reevaluating everything. So tonight, keep your lights charged. And if you spot a string of red LEDs fading into the mist, think twice before following. You might be joining a group ride that never ends. And on that note, sir.
Wow. The group ride that never ends. The century ride that they never finished.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's a great way to end our holiday segment.
And I just got to tell you that this AI, man, it is, when it works and it works right, it is amazing. And so I did ask it to write me a cycling spooky story for a podcast episode. And within about 3 trilliseconds, it went brrrr. And then it does say that in all spirit, it said that I should have read, and then you should have said, look, if I see a ghost on a bike, I'm at least asking when the tire pressure. Although it did call you Mike, and I apologize. So
I didn't get my teleprompt to say that. So
I know, but I will show you right there. It says,
nope, there you go. Mike, whoever that guy is.
a Mike style voice.
What?
Well, listen, buddy. Once again, we have got to the Halloween episode. Who thought we would have got past 3 episodes, let alone another Halloween episode? So,
Well, you know what? If I remember right, I think we're right now at 3 years.
That's right.
I think it was the end of, I don't know, is it end of October or beginning of November?
Beginning of November was the very first.
Okay. So we're only a couple weeks away from our 3rd year anniversary of Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure, which, yeah, I would have given us 4, maybe 5 episodes.
Well, we have 80.
Soon to be 81 as soon as we get this one done. But
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. It's been
Well,
and just to let everybody know, we have another couple of ideas in the works. A couple of guests we're working on bringing in, which would be really, really cool. Actually, we've got one guest that we're looking at trying to get back as a return guest that everybody seemed to like. So, not going to give anything away. I'm just saying, stay tuned.
Well, I was going to say today's a great day for a bike ride, except my bike I put on the wall. So
It's still a great day for a bike ride, so don't ever forget that.
it is always a good day for a bike ride. We've just had a lot of unfortunate, horrible weather here. Rain. I mean, I went to Florida and had 11 days of beautiful weather, and then I came home and it's been raining every day. So, but always good to be with you. I look forward to this time of the year. I love the gift idea show. It's one of those things I look forward to, and then give my wife a list of these are the things that I need for my 2026 ride. So
That's right.
once we figure out what those are, we'll announce. A few of you have written us behind the scenes and asking us which ones we're doing, and once we figure out our life and schedule, we'll start advertising those. So
I would say at this point in time, we have a short list.
yeah.
I think we've kind of narrowed it down. So we do have a short list. It's just a matter of figuring out logistics, scheduling, things like that. But we do have a short list of rides, and yeah, we'll be making that decision here in the next 2 months, probably month. Just depends on registration deadlines as far as getting the best deals and things like that. Yeah, we'll certainly let you know.
For sure, for sure. With that being said, my friend, always great to be with you. And I am sure somewhere, somehow today was a great day.
Day for a bike ride.
Absolutely.